Kagurabachi just ended. It's over. It's done.
It's over. We are screwed.
Guys, what a chapter. No action. Like we said, this was just a recovery chapter, a pickup chapter, but we got a ton of lore drops and important information, and stick around to the end because we get the biggest cliffhanger yet of the series. Thank you for joining me, and today we are talking Kagurabachi chapter 112. Before we get started, guys, if you're loving Kagurabachi, if you're loving the manga, then please hit that subscribe button because we are here every Sunday breaking down Kagurabachi, breaking down the latest chapters, and with the latest reveal at the very end of this chapter, Kagurabachi is about to heat up in a different type of way. So make sure you hit that notification bell because you're going to want to be around for when everything goes down because it is about to go down. But let's jump right into it. We basically pick up 4 days after the last chapter where Chihiro, Samura's dead, okay? Chihiro, Shiba got him out. So the Swordmaster, he's essentially retaken control, okay? We last saw him at the Kamunabi headquarters and he was about to implement some changes again. And we see that he wasted no time in implementing any of those changes. We see that there's been a declaration of war already, and we get this amazing panel with the Swordmaster just hovering in the air and a crowd of people beneath him. You know, like it's really interesting to see the dichotomy of how people see the Swordmaster. Some people see him as this savior. You know, he's a god almost in their eyes, protecting them, you know, bringing them to a peaceful future. You know, he's the guy who stopped the war, right? It was him. So he's hailed as like this great hero. But then on the other side, we also know about the malediction and everything else. So it's like, you know, is he really that great? Obviously, we know that he's not that great, but it's just interesting to see that the people love him. Like, it's not like he's not adored. Like, the guy he has supporters. Okay, so Chihiro and the opposition, they're technically in the wrong from everybody else's perspective, which is just interesting to keep in mind. But yeah, you know, Swordmaster's wasting no time. Declaration of war, right? We pick up with Samura's special forces, the quiet guys, you know, the ninjas who can fight with him. And again, they're just in regroup mode because what are we gonna do now? Samura couldn't defeat the Swordmaster, Chihiro couldn't defeat the Swordmaster, so who's going to, right? Who's going to? We do see Iori with Tobimune. Of course, we called it. No surprise there, guys. But I think what will surprise is what they're actually going to do with Tobimune. Okay, that was the big shocker. Okuzono, he dropped some bombs on us, and I'm not gonna lie, like there's some crazy misdirections, and that's just one of them. But Chihiro walks in and we get a nice group up scene, and he essentially has to explain to Iori and everybody else that, yeah, Samura died, right? He gave up his life to protect me and to essentially give us another shot at this, right? And it's really sad, but Iori, she says, isn't there anything we can do? Like, I can't believe he's gone. And this is where we get the biggest lore drop of the chapter, and arguably even the most important information of the chapter, to be honest. So Samura used something called dark power, right? And it's an esoteric realm of the enchanted blades that even his father, like, didn't really understand, which is crazy because his father made every single enchanted blade, so that his father doesn't even know what this realm is bonkers, you know? But he continues to go on and he says, Only the Shinichi Magatsumi constantly commands that power, but the other enchanted blades always had that potential. Mr. Samura burned up his own life to use the ultimate arcana and turn to ash. Okay, so some crazy lore is going on. So the enchanted blades, on top of all the abilities they have, there's an even deeper power that we've barely just scratched the surface of, that only the Swordmaster seems to have a grasp of, you know, and that's why he's so untouchable in the realm of swordplay, right? Because he's the only one that's freely in that realm. You know, Samura, he was able to get into that realm like in the last chapter, but it cost him his very life. You know, like it cost him his own life, but he was able to scrape and just slightly graze that power. But if Chihiro's able to get to that level, then boom, like him and the Swordmaster, they're on the same playing field, and the same playing field, Swordmaster is gonna get crushed, right? But this is where the Tobimune thing gets a little weird, right? Because instead of Iori just taking Tobimune and training with it, as I originally thought, and I'm sure a lot of you guys thought that too, like, you know, Samura was gonna die, sword was gonna get passed down to the daughter, right? The daughter's she already has training, so it's not like she doesn't know how to use a sword. So I thought she would just become the new wielder of Tobimune. But this is where Chihiro says he died once and he was revived, right? If he had simply died, that would be another matter. But Mr. Samura, he literally turned to ash, right? Then by using the same power, the same dark flame again, maybe Mr. Samura could, and it's implying that using the same power that Samura used to burn up his life can be used to reignite his life again, which is, I don't know how they're gonna do that, because like he said, he literally burned into ash. Like the guy crumbled away into nothing. So how are they gonna rematerialize him, right? Then we get more lore, right? It's a life sacrificing power. Chihiro's already used it, and we get a confirmation actually that the enchanted blades have a life, if you will, you know, and it's alluded to that the enchanted blades, like, they may not be alive in the sense that they can talk and speak, but they are alive, you know, like there is some kind of deeper connection that you must have with the sword to get to that true realm, right? Like it is a relationship that you have to form with the sword. It is alive, right? The sword master, right? That's why he's so sick. It's like the sword is like an extension of himself, right? It's like he's built that relationship up. So it's like that's why he's so sick, right? Chihiro's still in the early stages of his relationship with Enten. Chihiro says that they have to break Tobimune to use the power to bring Samura back. And we get this funny scene. Iori, she just tries to snap it over her knee right away. They're like, well, what are we waiting for? You know, we just have to break the sword. We just have to hurt the sword. No problem. Big deal. Not that easy. So Chihiro then goes on to explain that he's gonna need the Enten to destroy the Tobimune, and not even destroy it. It's just break it. I'm still kind of, the way the language they're using is so ambiguous, you know, like they're not gonna destroy it, they're just gonna break it. So maybe this is a scene where like Chihiro just has to crack the crack Tobimune the way he did when he was fighting Samura, just to show that he could break it, you know, and that's how they can use that power again to revive Samura. But other than that, I mean, like, even to revive Samura, how are you gonna revive him? There's no physical body to revive. There's no physical body. So it seems like they're gonna have to give up the enchanted blade for Samura. But then if they do that, then Tobimune is actually gone, because yeah, if you have to, if it's a life for a life type of thing, then Tobimune's gone. Like, hello. But anyway, we get after that, we just cut to this panel of the sword master, and he's just wondering, curse. And it's basically just him thinking about what Samura was telling him last chapter. Chihiro will lift your curse. And we get a flashback to him as a baby, actually. And he said, what I learned from the lesson was a lesson. Like, what he got from the war was a lesson. That's what he took from him. Boom. Super setting up some more flashbacks. Like, we need to see the story of the sword master. Like, I'm glad that Hokuzono's not dropping that plot point, because that one needs to get expanded on. I would love a full arc, Jujutsu Kaisen style, hidden inventory, where he just does a full arc, just going back couple chapters, make it a whole thing, and just the sword master growing up, Samura, young Samura, Izuhara, like all the guys. Like that's what I'm trying to see. Like, I don't want to just see like a little flashback. I want to see a whole thing. Like, he needs to give it to us. But we end the chapter with Chihiro, and he's going back home, guys. He's going back home. We have not seen this guy go back home since the first chapter when his dad was killed, right? And he goes in and he gets to work. He locks in, he's gonna forge a new sword, and it's really nice to see. He's coming into his own. He even says himself, I've got to see the world through my own eyes. He's been seeing the world through his father's perception, and through his many encounters with all of these different enchanted sword bearers, wielders. He's forming his own opinion of the enchanted blades, right? He thought that they were all heroes. He thought that they were all good. It was for the greater cause, right? Turns around, it wasn't exactly like that. The sword master was a mass murdering, like genocidal maniac. Like it's not always how things goes. So he's got to forge his own path. Even we get this great panel of just, we see Soju in the back. The purpose is to take human lives, and everybody has different reasons, different values for using the enchanted blades and for swinging the swords. But Chihiro's got to find his reason. Chihiro's got to find his reason why he swings the sword, and something to protect. So this is just a full moment, and it's so beautiful, right? We see the swordmaster again kill all the evildoers. Chihiro's wondering, what kind of sword should I make, right? We see N10, his piece of N10. We see Cloud Gouger there, okay? And there's another sword. There's three pieces. So comment in the comments. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is just Cloud Gouger and N10. Maybe it might be like a piece of Tobimune. I don't think so, though. Iori's got the sword, so it doesn't make sense. But we end the chapter. Chihiro, he's saying to his dad, he's serious about becoming a swordsmith, and he says, I'll surpass you. And boom, guys, the biggest reveal of the chapter, Kagurabachi just ended. Part 1, though. Part 1 of Kagurabachi just ended. Thankfully, there's no break next week, so we're still back next week with another chapter. I don't know if part 2 is going to pick up again next week. It might be a chapter 112.5 and just like a colorful spread with just some illustrations. I don't know if it's going to be a part 2, but thank the good Lord, guys. I was so scared that the story was going to wrap up quick, or Hokuzono was just gonna slap a bow on things pretty. Chihiro's gonna get some weird power up and just go fight the sword master after Samura died. So I'm very glad that he's just taking his time. He's letting things burn. He's letting things play out, because this is what we need. We do not need Kagurabachi to end. Kagurabachi's so sick, so keep it going. Keep the hype train going till the very end. Part 1 is finished. My biggest gripe, I can't believe we didn't get to see Shiba. I would have loved to see Shiba. What happened? Where is he? Last chapter, he scooped Chihiro up unconscious. Then we pick up 4 days later, and Chihiro's just meeting up with the squad. So where's Shiba? What is he doing? What's he up to? I need to be keeping tabs on Shiba, man. The most underrated player in the story, but he's one of the top guys. Like you gotta keep your eye out for Shiba. But guys, thank you for watching. Let me know down in the comments below. Did you expect Kagurabachi to come to an end? What are you most looking forward to in part 2? Do you think Samura is going to be able to be revived? And how do you think the story is going to wrap up? And what about that flashback? Are you guys excited for a flashback as I am? Or am I the only one that's waiting for this war flashback? I gotta know. Let me know down in the comments below, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will be back with another one. In the meantime, if you want to check out a couple Jujutsu Kaisen reviews, you can check them out here. And if you want to check out why Sekiro is the perfect anime game to ever exist, then you can also check that one out here. Thank you guys, I appreciate it, and I will be back with the next one.